You're not ugly. It's actually quite the contrary. You've just been indoctrinated and taught since birth that you're supposed to fit into a mold and that you need to buy things and be things outside of yourself to be desirable. But this mold that you're trying to fit into was not even created for you. If you're new here, my name is Romani. I'm gonna split this up into sections and I'm going to work on being as detailed as possible so that you can fully grasp what I'm trying to say. The first thing I want to talk about is hair. I was born in the late 90s and I feel like we did have representation, but there was also messaging that was always contradicting that representation. Most of the young Black girls that I knew growing up either had kinky or curly textured hair, but everything that we saw in the media was geared towards straight hair. And that doesn't mean that we always saw white women with blonde hair. Many times we did, but we also saw Black women with long straight hair. At this moment, I can't really think of any movies that showcase natural hairstyles other than the movie Hair Show. Hair Show was pretty good, but that was geared toward natural hair. I can't really think of any mainstream movies or mainstream television shows that really catered to Black women and representing Black women as we see them every day. Well, now that I am thinking about it, one representation that we often saw was Raven Baxter's mom. She always wore her twist, and that was really nice to see. I'm sure if other women had twists, they would like to see that. But other than that, I can't really put my finger on anything that represented Black women. And then whenever you went into the beauty supply store, what did you see? You saw boxes of perm with Black women or young Black girls with straight hair on the front of the box. And I was having a conversation similar to this with someone last week where I was saying we're taught to feel certain ways about ourselves. And they were like, no, I don't think that is taught to us. But when I say taught, I don't mean that there's somebody at a chalkboard saying, don't like this about yourself, don't like this about yourself. But the messaging teaches you that I don't really see myself in the world, so obviously I am undesirable. I don't see my hair on TV. I only see women with straight hair, so obviously I have to make my hair straight in order to be desired. So no one really has to teach you these things step by step because it's already reinforced in the messages that you see every single day. And now that I'm thinking about it, we are even taught in school, because I feel like kids can be really cruel when it comes to school. Kids can say some pretty mean things about your appearance, and then you start to believe that those things hold truth. So whether it's coming from your peers or it's coming from the media, well, the media is actually influencing your peers to say these things to you. But no matter who it's coming from, the message is still the same. Black women need straight hair in order to be desired. And I also grew up in the era of you going to the salon every Saturday to get your hair straightened. So we're already going to the salon every day to alter our natural hair texture. And you have people telling you that your 4C or 4B hair is unmanageable. Black women who are doing your hair are like, ooh, your hair is just so hard to manage, or you're tender-headed because your hair is nappy, just saying different things to you. And as you continue to grow up, you start to think, damn, my hair is not manageable, because even a licensed hairstylist cannot manage my hair. Or you start to think, I'm giving people a hard time with my hair. Like, I remember when I used to do hair, I stopped doing hair maybe last year, but I had a hair business for like 7 years where I was doing natural hair, and I would love to get women with 4C hair because I have 4C hair and it's easy for me to manage. Now, softer hair textures like 4A and stuff like that, it's easy to manage, but with the braids and the twists and the locks that I was doing, it's so much easier if the hair is kinky because the style will hold. But I always had women apologizing for their hair, like, oh, my hair is nappy. I'm like, no, we don't do that in this chair because I also have 4C hair and there's nothing wrong with my hair. So there's nothing wrong with your hair. And I can manage it because I took time to learn my own hair before I started putting my hands in somebody else's head. But as I was saying, you're going to the salon every Saturday. You kind kind of know, like, it's just this understanding that when you become of age, maybe, I don't even know what age, but when you become of age, you're going to get a perm. And then when you get a little bit older, you're going to get your first sew-in, which is now wigs. I don't know if the girls are still doing sew-ins, but I was so excited to get my first sew-in. And these are just the rites of passage that you take as a young Black woman when it comes to hair. And just to be clear, I'm not against any of this. I also went through the same conditioning as a child. But when you're born into a culture like this and you're conditioned like this, of course you're not going to like your natural hair because you've never seen your natural hair represented. And if you did see it represented, people were either making fun of it or it was deemed unattractive. And something I was thinking about not too long ago is when the girls in grade school would be like, oh, my hair was long when I was little, or my hair was long before my mama put that perm in it. And, you know, we all laugh about it, but it really holds truth. Young Black girls really do have a head full of hair until society tells them to mess it up. Young Black girls actually have a lot of hair on their heads, and then we are getting the perms. And I don't think people fully grasp how damaging a perm is, not only to your scalp, but like your entire body. You're putting chemicals in your body, and you are sitting something on your scalp with your hair follicles, and you're waiting until it burns in order to wash it out. Sit with that for a little bit. So no, your hair isn't ugly. White society just made you feel like you had to be more like them because they didn't understand you. They know your power, and they know that when you truly tap into that power of knowing exactly who you are, you're dangerous. So they know that if they get you in line as a child, you're more likely to stay in line as a child, a teen, an adult, and you can further push that agenda that they're trying to push on us. You can continue the cycle. You can keep your kids in line and they can keep their kids in line. We'll never fully rise up and step into our power because we don't know it, or we think that it's ugly or undesirable. And for context, I had a perm for about 4 years, and then the math wasn't math, and a lot of things just stopped making sense, and I had this deep urge to go natural. I feel like I put that in another video if you want to know about it. But yeah, so I did have perms. I had the sew-ins, I did the wigs, I did all the things. I've actually only been locked for the past 2 years, but I've been natural. Like, I started my natural hair journey maybe 10 years ago. All right, now let's talk about body image. Just like hair, we were conditioned to agree on what body type was acceptable. I'm constantly going to refer back to the early 2000s because that's when I was a child, but in the early 2000s, I can definitely remember the goal, not my goal, but just the goal in life was to be like a size 0 to a size 2, I believe. And there are still women who are size 0 to 2, and there is nothing wrong with being that size. What was wrong was making women who were not that size feel like they needed to be something other than who they were. The media made women who were not super small feel like they were unattractive and like something was wrong with them. And that target constantly seemed to be Black women. If they're putting more fast food restaurants and liquor stores in Black neighborhoods, Black and brown neighborhoods, but in white neighborhoods, they have grocery stores and parks. Obviously, the people with lack of access to parks and recreation and nature, and the people without access to healthier food options, so they're only eating McDonald's and Wendy's and they're only drinking 40s and tequila, obviously they're going to have a higher percent of body fat than the white people who have access to the healthier things. So statistically, when a woman is not a certain size and they're like pushing this agenda, it's always going to be the Black woman, because the Black woman is the one that doesn't have the access to the resources that would make her a size 0 or 2. And that's not even, most of us, that's not even our like genetic makeup to be that size. But I'm just saying, like, we're obviously going to have a higher percentage of body fat. We're obviously going to have a higher BMI because you're putting nonsense into our neighborhoods. I specifically remember different movies and TV shows when I was growing up, like making fun of women with big butts or trying to tell women with big butts that, you know, it wasn't a good thing, or, you know, it was unattractive. And who is more likely to have a big butt? Okay. And a memory that I kind of stumbled upon in the past few weeks was when I was in second grade and I was 7 years old. I really started to understand my body a little bit more and just how I looked. Like, I really started getting into the physical. And I remember sitting down one day and I noticed that my thighs would, go flat. So they would kind of spread when I sat down. Like, quite naturally, when you sit down, your body's just going to relax. My thighs would spread. But being so young, I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm fat when I sit down. My thighs look huge. 7 years old, couldn't be more than 65 pounds. I don't know how big kids are, but I couldn't have been that big at 7 years old. But the messaging was so like indoctrined into my mind that you had to be a certain size that I was scared of getting fat at 7 years old. And I wasn't even getting fat. I was always active. I was always a dancer. I wasn't even getting fat. I literally sat down and my body did what most bodies do. And I just remember really feeling down about it. And it was like a specific day where I was just like so down about it. All my friends were like, no, you're not fat. We're 7 having this conversation. How are we 7 having this conversation? And what's so interesting now, and it's not even interesting because trends fade, but the trendy thing is the Black woman. The Black woman is like the ideal body type when it comes to lips, when it comes to cheekbones, when it comes to your butt, your boobs. The Black woman is like the mold that everybody's trying to fit into. And don't argue with me in the comments, argue with somebody else, because like, be for real right now. But all the BBLs and the lip injections just shows you that white society will try to make you feel like you're ugly. They'll try to make you feel undesirable. They'll make you hate your natural features. Once you hate them, they'll start to use them and they'll repackage it and sell it back to you and make a profit off of you, what you've always been, which is beautiful. It's a crazy world. And now I want to talk about healing. What I truly believe that our community needs, especially the woman, the Black woman, is healing and unlearning. We hear so many words thrown around. Oh, we need to heal. How do we heal? So I invite you to really do a deep dive on yourself, your personal choices, what you like about yourself, what you don't like about yourself, and really be honest with those answers. So what don't I like about myself? Why don't I like that about myself? When was the first time I started feeling like I didn't like this thing? Like, you're gonna have to go back deep. So like, don't think that this is going to be just a little surface level thing. No, it might be like, what don't I like about myself? I don't like my thighs. When was the first time that I didn't like my thighs? Oh, when I couldn't fit into some shorts when I was in the 4th grade and everybody laughed at me. Like, it's going to be something that's really going to make you go back. So you're going to have to take some time out to really think about this so that you can unlearn certain things and so that you can heal. But really start to ask yourself, what hairstyles do I gravitate most to? What media am I consuming? Does it alter my perception of myself? Really ask yourself these questions so that you can start to understand yourself better and you can give the next generation a more pleasant experience as it relates to beauty standards and just growing up in America. And something that I always like to reiterate on my channel is that there is no standard. You set the standard. You don't have to fit into a mold. If you don't like something, stop doing it. If you don't like to wear a certain thing, don't wear it because it's trendy. If you don't like to wear your hair a certain way, don't wear your hair that certain way just so that you can fit in. You have to start showing up as your authentic self and stop caring about what society wants you to be. I appreciate you for making it this far into the video. Please share this video with another Black girl who may need it or another Black girl who can share it with somebody else. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up because it really helps YouTube push my videos out to more people. I'm gonna leave everything in the description box, like my social media, so that you can follow me on Instagram and you can shop in my business, all those things. Again, thank you for watching and I will see you soon.